Hi, long time no see. I'm so glad to hear from you. I'm very excited for the progress that you've made. So for scales, and if you're looking for like instruments, like questionnaires, or like all the different scales and things like that. I'm not quite sure if I'm following, so if I miss on this video, let me know. But they are, from the evidence that I've found, scales and instruments and things like that sometimes are naturally embedded in an article, or they're part of a study, or sometimes they're part of figures, or sometimes they're part of an article's extra evidence. I found that publishers are putting the article and then, do you want to see all the other evidence? That's like a separate thing. Sometimes they're proprietary, where people are actually monetizing these things. And so you can subscribe to them. So let me show you the resources that we have. But know that it's fraught with peril, and it's sometimes hard to get things. So if you know the name of a specific one that you'd really like to get, I can do a deeper dive, as it were. But let me show you what I'm doing so far and give you some starting points. All is not grim. So from the article, I just went to the National Library of Medicine article that you sent. And I opened up in one of the figures the names of scales. One of them was the Columbia Suicide Severity Rating Scale. Another thing that I did is I looked in the article. So I've been cruising through this article, looking for the name of an article, and then looking that up. And if the scale wasn't in there, I've been trying to find the name of it. Both might work. You might have to do some digging. So I'd say start with the ones that you want the most, because there's no clearinghouse for everything, unfortunately, because the licensing is weird. Be that as it may, let me show you how to get around that. A couple things. You can look up the name of the scale just out in the open web. So you would just do that in quotes, and it'll show up articles like, it won't show up articles. Oh yeah, here's our scholarly articles. Looks like there's people that are working with it though. Did I accidentally find it? That'd be hilarious. Na, na, na. A lot of these they have copyright issues with them. Let the record state, this is the first one that I found. I can't believe it just happened that easy. This is, I was preparing you for the worst, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, here it is. Oh, that's hilarious. Be that as it may, if you don't find it for free out on the open web like that, you can look for it in the library catalog, and there'll be like a host of like books that might have licensed it, might be articles that might display their adaptation of it. So the library database, something like that. There is one that we purchased. So there's one that's like psych instruments, and there's another one like APA, that's like psychometric instruments and things like that. The one that we subscribe to currently is called HAPI. How do we find HAPI? If you go to psychology, it's health and something, something, something. But here's how I find it. Go to psychology, and then in one of these databases I just search for HAPI. Oh, health and psychosocial instruments. HAPI. This is a database that we have. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, who knows if this is what we're looking for? So I'm going to look for that scale. And of course, now it's just going to be like, oh, here it is right on the top. This is Spanish, French, Dutch. This better not show me the scale right off the bat, because I haven't been able to find anything. It's not, oh, maybe showing me some of the scale. Maybe this is in the context. It's not as good as that open web one. Okay, so you might have to dig around. Oh, okay, yeah, that was a bit of a dud. So just so you know, you have to do some digging, and your results may vary. Clearly, I was shocked by finding it in the first place. But as you go, you might find people who have actually published it. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Now it's hard. So maybe the lesson is look on the open web. Be that as it may, dig around. If you find the names of specific ones that would really help, focus on those first, because it looks like in this systematic review article, there's quite a range of decades of instruments and scales and things like that. So let me know how it goes. This is a great place to start. Another database that was recommended, but it's going to be potluck, is under nursing. There's one called Synol. And that might have palliative care, end-of-life care, and things like that. But it depends on the population you're looking at. So if you're looking at like really young people, like K through 12, you might look at an education database, et cetera, et cetera. So let me know how it goes. Wasn't that serendipitous that we found that scale? But nice to talk with you, and let me know how it goes, and I can see if I can help further.